Good evening. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Savitri Krishnamurthy. I teach English and Logic at BYJU'S. Welcome to Critical Reasoning Quest Part 12. First of all, before I start the lesson, tell me if you can see me and hear me clearly. If you can, give me a thumbs up and then we can start the lesson. Today we will be covering inferences and conclusions. So what will we do? We will first understand what's an inference or a conclusion in a critical reasoning question, in a critical reasoning passage, and then we will try to solve some critical reasoning, inference-based questions in critical reasoning. All right, is that clear? Shall we start? Okay. Now, before we start that, you know that we have a lot of courses for CLAT, but all of us have this doubt, like what am I getting into? Before I commit myself to a 1 year, 6 month, 3 month coaching program, I want to know what it is like. So we have decided, we have instituted the system whereby a student gets some trial classes. So you can unlock your 3-day free trial access by clicking on the button here so that you can see what the classes are like and then decide to join if you're satisfied with the kind of teaching, the lessons and the questions. All right. Okay, let's start. What is critical reasoning? Critical reasoning is a part of logical reasoning. So logical reasoning has both number-based reasoning and word-based reasoning. Critical reasoning is the part which tests your ability to think, solve a problem, give a solution to a situation based on what is written. So it requires a certain command of English because it tests your ability to understand a given set of statements. So there'll be a short paragraph given with 4 or 5 sentences. The entire paragraph is called an argument. And as a student, you're supposed to analyze the argument. Every argument has different parts in it. There'll be some evidence given to you. That's called the premise. Based on the evidence, the author will draw the conclusion. That's, of course, the conclusion. And the author takes something for granted. That's called an assumption. So you have to look at an argument, look at the different parts of an argument and answer the questions based on it. Obviously, if an argument has a premise and an assumption and a conclusion, most of the questions would be based on that. All right. So in the critical reasoning section in CLAT is a critical reading test because they give you passages which are 400 to 500 words long and there are 5 or 6 questions based on the passage. But those questions are critical reasoning questions. What is the author's main argument? What is the author's assumption? What can you conclude from it? What can you infer from it? How would you complete the argument? In other exams, like other legal entrance exams like Maharashtra CET, SLAT and JMILLB, you have statement and paragraph based questions. Different types of questions are asked. A statement will be given to you and the same question will be asked. What is the assumption in the statement? There it's a passage, here it's a statement. The basis, the basics, the fundamentals remain the same. We will learn about inferences in today's class so that you can answer inference-based questions either when it is asked in the form of a statement-based question, a paragraph-based question, or a passage-based question. All right. So there are different types of questions asked: statement assumption, statement conclusion, cause and effect question, course of action question, strong and weak argument question. An argument is given to you and you're supposed to evaluate if that argument is a strong argument or a weak argument. The conclusion of an argument is removed. The last line of an argument is removed and you are asked to conclude or complete the argument. So all these kinds of questions are asked. Hello Afifa, good evening. All right. So paragraph or passage based questions, only the form changes. All right. Assumptions in arguments instead of assumption on the basis of a question. Inferences and conclusion, main points, strengthen, weaken, parallel logic, method of argumentation. In this series, I will take you through all the questions. So in the last session, part 11, we had done some questions on assumptions. Oh, what happened? Wait, let me get my pen. So we had done assumptions. Today we're going to learn the basics about inferences and conclusions. All right, clear? Okay, let's start. What is a conclusion or an inference? There are certain facts given. An inference or a conclusion is another fact which can be derived from the given facts. Okay, so you're going one step away from the fact which is given. If it says it is cloudy today, in the last 10 days, whenever it is cloudy, it has rained. So what inference or conclusion can you draw? It is most likely to rain today. You can't say it will definitely rain today. If you say it will definitely rain today, we'll say what if today is an exception? So that is an inference or a conclusion, a fact that is derived from a set of facts. All right. Okay. So let's look at a statement and two conclusions. This is a statement conclusion question. I will explain to you step by step how to answer it. Whenever you are given this, remember step number 1 is to understand exactly what is the information given to you in the statement. What is the statement saying? There are protests in the city, and whenever there are protests, educational institutions are shut and essential services remain open. So whenever any kind of violence, protest, demonstrations happen, it is, we don't want children, people going, the students, the teachers to be at any risk. So what is the general trend? Schools, colleges are closed. Educational institutions generally are shut. But essential services, hospitals, things which are important for us, essential services remain open. All right, so these are the facts given to us. Have the facts at your fingertips. I told you what's a conclusion, a statement that is derived from this and that has to be 100% true. The moment this is given to you and you say this, then you say, yeah, this was given in the statement. So therefore, this conclusion is justified. कोई भी doubt नहीं होना चाहिए. The moment you have a doubt, हो भी सकता है, नहीं भी हो सकता है, that's not a correct conclusion. Clear? So if there whenever there are protests in the city, jab bhi, whenever there are protests in the city, educational institutions remain closed, essential services remain open. Based on this, can we say educational, there are protests in the city, right? So that is one fact. And whenever there are protests, this shuts down, this remains open. Putting 1 and 2 together, can we say educational institutions are likely to be shut? जब भी protest होता है, they are shut. A protest is happening now. So it is most likely आज भी schools and colleges will be shut. So this is a conclusion. Yes, 100% true. Next, essential services remain open, he said. So essential services will be open. You can say definitely. So you will say yes, this is also correct. So the code says mark A if conclusion 1 follows, 2 if conclusion 2 follows, C if both follow, both follow. So my correct answer is C. Clear? Then in your answer paper, remember when in the exam this code keeps changing. Sometimes C is for neither and D is for both. So automatically C mat laga dena. If you know it is both are correct, just look at the code, mark the one which says both. Okay? Alright. One answer correct. Very good. Now let's look at another question. Isko aap khud karna. I will just read it for you. The Prime Ministers of India and Pakistan are meeting for an hour to discuss bilateral issues. Okay? Prime Ministers of India and Pakistan are meeting. Information number 1. Fact number 2. How long are they meeting? 1 hour. Why are they meeting? To discuss bilateral issues. 3 points given to us. Remember, your conclusion has to be within these facts only. Isse bahar kuch hai, so that conclusion is not justified. Alright, conclusion number 1 says, Kashmir is the most important item on the agenda. Is this conclusion correct? Does it follow? Second, India and Pakistan are not going to be at war in the near future. Okay, both prime ministers are meeting for an hour and discussing issues, bilateral issues. दोनों देश के बीच जो भी है, they're going to discuss. Based on this, what do you think is the answer? A, if only conclusion 1 follows, that Kashmir will be discussed, most important. B, that they're not likely to be at war. Both or neither. A, B, C, D. Quickly give me your answer before we move on to the next question. Prime Ministers are meeting for an hour to discuss bilateral issues. इतना ही दिया गया है. Your conclusion should not be based on previous knowledge. Your conclusion should not be based on your general knowledge. Your conclusion should only be based on what is given in the statement. And so, what is the conclusion that is that is correct here? Answer quickly. A, B, C, or D. Don't worry if you get your answer wrong. It's okay. What do you think is the correct conclusion? That's all. Give me A, B, C, or D. Quickly. The moment I see my first answer, I will discuss. Has the statement mentioned anything about Kashmir? Afifa, okay. Afifa says it's true. Now, Kashmir के बारे में कुछ नहीं बोला गया. You know, I know that Kashmir is a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan. But this statement doesn't tell us. It just says bilateral issue. So, based on this, we don't know Kashmir हो भी सकता है, नहीं भी हो सकता है. Now, maybe they are discussing a problem. Afifa, how can you say पक्का कि war नहीं होगा? 100% आप बोल सकते हैं क्या based on what? They may talk for an hour to discuss bilateral issue. That bilateral issue may be something which is contentious, which if the talks fail, we don't know if the talks are successful or not. They are meeting for an hour. But whether the meeting went off well, whether they came out smiling, we don't know. So how can you say they are not going to be at war? They may not be at war, may be okay. But definitely आप बोल सकते हो कि दोनों countries के बीच में war होगा. No, you can't say. Because we don't know what the meeting was about. We don't know what the stand of each country was about. Whether it was about Kashmir, whether it was about the LOC or just about cricket matches between India and Pakistan. We don't know what they discussed. Maybe it was fantastic movies, बहुत अच्छा है, आपका picture अच्छा है, समोसे अच्छे हैं, कराची हलवा बहुत अच्छा है. Maybe it is very, very friendly. We do not know. So, unless we know, we can't say this for sure either. So, the correct answer is not B but D. Neither conclusion, because the conclusion only, statement only tells me they are meeting for an hour to discuss issues. कौन सा issue we don't know. We don't know what happened at the meeting. So we can't draw any conclusion about what was discussed or what is likely to be the result of the meeting. Clear? All right. Now this is a paragraph based critical reasoning question. All right. What do you do? इसको भी आप वैसे ही पढ़ना जैसे आप statement based question पढ़ते हो. Read it sentence by sentence, simplify it so that you know exactly what are the facts which are called premises in an argument. Okay, then you look at what can be. Unless you know what are the facts or premises of given in the argument, you cannot draw a conclusion. So, इसके बारे में आपको पूरा clarity होना चाहिए. All right. Okay, let's see what it says. People claim that advertisements promoting fairness creams play an important role in youngsters being obsessed with their looks and complexion. बहुत सारे ads है, fair and lovely, fairness cream, 2 दिन लगा दो, you will become very fair. ये जो ads है, the argument is saying, this is the reason why people are so conscious of their looks and complexion. इतने सारे ads है fairness creams के, youngsters look at it and they think it's that looks and complexion are very important. So they play an important role in the obsession. Obsession means unhealthy interest. Obsession, too much interest, way beyond reason, unreasonably excessive interest in something is called obsession. And he's saying that is the reason why youngsters are so conscious of their looks and complexion. So many ads on fairness creams. That is what is causing young people in the country to become unreasonably conscious, interested in their looks and complexion. That is fact number one. Second, in South Korea, however, where there has been a ban on such advertising since 2000, since the year 2000, obsession over one's looks and complexion is as prevalent among youngsters as it is among youngsters in other countries which allow beauty product advertisements. So look at the two facts given to you. This is one fact. This fact contradicts or counters this fact. पहला वाला बोल रहा है कि because there are so many ads on, some people say because of too many ads on fairness creams, young people are becoming unreasonably obsessed with their looks and complexion. Second one says, however, South Korea में ads of fairness creams have been banned. But even in South Korea, where these ads are not there, youngsters are just as obsessed with their looks and complexion as those countries where fairness creams ka ads are going on. So what can you conclude from it? Ad hai, first sentence says, ads leads to obsession, unhealthy interest in looks and complexion. Okay. Now, reasonably, South Korea mein these ads are banned. So, if this is true, then you would expect that South Korea mein the obsession for looks would go down. Ads hi nahi hai fairness creams ke. But South Korea youngsters are as obsessed with their looks and complexion as are youngsters in countries where these ads are there. Ads hai. जिस कंट्री में जितने यंगस्टर्स के इंटरेस्ट है, साउथ कोरिया डजंट हैव द एड्स एंड दैट्स आल्सो हैपनिंग देयर. सो बेस्ड ऑन दिस, व्हाट कैन यू कंक्लूड? Among the options, which do you think is 100% true? Okay. Ads promote too much interest in looks. Okay. South Korea, no ads on fairness creams. Okay. No ads on fairness cream. Even in South Korea, this interest in looks is the same. Based on this, what can you conclude? More youngsters become obsessed with beauty and complexion when there are no advertisements on beauty products. Advertising is not the only factor that affects the prevalence of obsession over looks and complexion. Advertisements play no role in the obsession, or banning advertisements decreases the obsession over looks. What do you think is the right answer? Give me the answer. It doesn't matter if it is wrong. उसके बाद मैं एक option आपको समझा दूंगी. Why it is correct or not correct. Alright? Which do you think? That according to one group of people, advertisements of fairness creams is what is leading to unhealthy interest in one's looks and complexion. Okay, so this is one fact. Second says, lekin South Korea mein this is not correct, because in South Korea there are no advertisements on face beauty products. But South Korea also, this interest in looks and complexion is the same. Those countries where ads on fairness creams are there, wahan pe let's say 60% of youngsters are interested in looks. South Korea में ads नहीं है, यहाँ पे भी 60% youngsters are obsessed with looks and complexion. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? Banning advertisement does not decrease the advertisement. अगर banning advertisement decreases the obsession, then South Korea youngsters would not have been so conscious of their looks and complexion. South Korea में ad banned है, फिर भी लोग उतना ही इंटरेस्ट लेते हैं अपने लुक्स और कॉम्प्लेक्शन में. So what does that mean? That does not mean that It decreases the obsession. Ads नहीं है फिर भी इनका obsession है. So ads are not playing the role. Something else is adding to the consciousness on looks. So D is not correct. Ads play no role, we can't say. Because in these countries maybe it is playing a role. South Korea का case अलग भी हो सकता है. So definitely we can't say advertising does not play any role in a person's consciousness over looks. So what can we say? अच्छा, South Korea में ad नहीं है. That means advertising is not the only factor because of which youngsters are getting conscious of their looks and complexion. There must be something else in South Korea because of which the youngsters are becoming more and more interested in looks and complexion. So in those countries where fairness cream ads are there is interest in looks and complexion. South Korea में ये ad नहीं है, फिर भी there is interest in looks and complexion. So there must be something else that is contributing. All right. So the correct answer is not play no role. We can't say. Role हो भी सकता है. We don't know. In countries में role हो भी सकता है ना. Those people who are claiming South Korea can be an exception. So those countries where ads are there, हो भी सकता है कि फेयरनेस क्रीम की वजह से लोग और भी खरीद रहे हैं और भी कॉन्शियस हो गए हैं. लेकिन साउथ कोरिया का केस में क्या हुआ? एड्स नहीं है फिर भी यंगस्टर्स आर इंटरेस्टेड इन कॉम्पिटिशन. फिर साउथ कोरिया के केस एंड सम अदर कंट्रीज में मे बी अदर देन एड और कुछ तो फैक्टर होगा, हमको पता नहीं वो क्या है. But there must be. So ad is not the only factor. There must be something else. Therefore, the correct answer will be B. This is a little more difficult than the earlier question that you saw. But CLAT questions, AILET questions will be of this level. So we will solve both so that you understand how to answer inference question. Okay, and don't ever say sorry for making a mistake. Okay. If you give a wrong answer, now you'll understand and you'll give the correct answer. All right. All right. Now, this is a very common form of question in all tests. They'll talk of two people's conversations will be given. Then they will say, what is the relationship? How did this one understand this one's argument? What is the main point of this lady's argument? What is the main point of this lady's argument? बहुत सारे चीज पूछ सकते हैं. So what do you have to do in this question? First read what is the question. What can be inferred about Jyoti's interpretation of Beena's statement? अभी हमको दोनों पढ़ना है. First you read what Beena said, then you read what Jyoti said, and then we'll see on what point is there disagreement or what did Jyoti think Beena said. That's what the question is asking. Beena says a smoke detector fire alarm. So basically in houses you have these smoke detectors. Sometimes when people are frying papads and the oil becomes very hot, if there is smoke also, alarm chala jata hai and sprinklers start working. So that is what is a smoke detector. वो alarm होता है, it detects smoke and the moment there is smoke, it starts ringing and all the water, the sprinkler system is activated. That is called a smoke detector fire alarm. So Beena is saying a smoke detector fire alarm saved the life of an infant. Infant means chota bachcha in a luxury apartment in Bangalore. According to this new report, this is not the first instance when the fire alarm has helped residents fight the fire hazard. So this is not there's a report that one child was saved because there was a fire, but the fire alarm went off. So in time they could save the child. Then the report says this is not the first time. ऐसे बहुत सारे time हैं, बहुत सारे instances हैं when the fire alarm has helped residents fight the fire hazard. जब भी कुछ आग का कोई danger है, because of the fire alarm, people have managed to save life and property. Then Beena is saying this. This is the main point you should remember. It should be made mandatory. It means smoke detector fire alarm should be made mandatory. Mandatory means compulsory. In all apartments in cities. Cities में जितने सारे apartments में हर apartment में एक ये फायर स्मोक डिटेक्टिंग फायर अलार्म होना चाहिए. दैट शुड बी कंपल्सरी. इट शुड बी मेड मैंडेटरी so that fires can be put out easily. ये बीना का argument है. Clear? What did Jyoti say? So Beena says that apartments in cities should have fire alarms. Compulsory होना चाहिए. ये rule होना चाहिए. What does Jyoti say? I don't agree. Now what does she agree with? I think smoke detector should be mandatory in independent houses as well. They are important for the safety of independent houses as well. And there are many people living in private houses in the cities of India. So, Jyoti said, nahi. Apartment mein hi nahi, fire alarm system should be made compulsory, mandatory in independent houses also, because in cities, lot of people live in private houses and independent houses. Question is asking, what did Jyoti interpret Beena's statement? How did Jyoti interpret? Jyoti को क्या समझ में आया? Beena बोली कि apartments में fire alarms have to be made compulsory. Jyoti says, I don't agree. And she says, private houses में compulsory होना चाहिए. All right. So now, what do you think Jyoti interpreted this statement to mean? Look at the options, read them slowly, carefully, and tell me which is the right answer. Residents in rural areas do not face any fire hazard. The city administration is responsible for the installation of smoke alarm. The risk of fire is not as great in private houses as it is in apartments in cities. Is it C or is it D? Only apartments should be equipped with smoke detector fire alarms. Now go back to the argument. I don't agree. Okay, and look at her first statement. Smoke detector should be mandatory in independent houses as well. तो ज्योति समझ रही है that Beena said कि only apartments में होना चाहिए. And ज्योति saying no, private घरों में भी होना चाहिए because private houses. Now this reason she is giving. But her main thing is this statement. They should be there in independent houses as well. Then she is giving her justification. क्यों होना चाहिए private houses में? वहां पे भी fire का problem है. So how did she interpret? C and D are close, but the correct answer is D. Beena is not saying anything about private houses. All she is saying is apartment में होना चाहिए. Jyoti is saying no, I don't agree. Apartment में भी नहीं, private houses में भी होना चाहिए. So she has interpreted. वो समझ रही है that Beena has said it should be there only in apartments. That's why she is saying no, you are wrong. It should be there in private houses as well. Got it? Therefore, the correct answer is not C but D. C and D are close, but D is the answer because Jyoti has understood Beena is saying it should be there only in apartments. That's why she is saying nahi, private houses mein bhi hona chahiye. Got it? All right. Let's look at the last question of the day. There's a letter. Okay, a company has sent a letter when you apply for jobs, for internships, to colleges for a seat. You normally send a form, application form, and you get a reply. All right, आजकल तो email में आता है, but even in the email, this is the format. What did it say? Thank you for applying for a summer internship in our company. So applicant had applied for a summer internship in a particular company. यहाँ पे summer में आपको काम करने का मौका मिलता है in the company as an intern. Okay, most of them are paid, some are not paid, but here it's about a paid internship. And it says thank you for applying. वो तो always first sentence है. Second one says, we are sorry to inform you that we are unable to offer you an internship. Sorry, आपके लिए internship नहीं है. Why? Third one, funding for summer internships is limited. हमारा जो फंड्स आता है इंटर्नशिप के लिमिटेड अमाउंट का है. We can't offer internships to everyone who applies. Limited funds है, so limited लोगों को ही मिलता है. Everyone who applies cannot get it. So we are compelled to reject many highly qualified candidates. Okay, 4 points have been given. Okay, thank you for applying. Sorry, we can't give you an internship. Funding is limited. We can't offer internships to everyone who applies, so we are bound to reject many highly qualified applicants. What can you infer based on these statements? Which of the statements is 100% true? This is the standard letter of rejection for all rejected candidates. The funding for summer internships is very less. Many candidates prefer to do unpaid internships for the experience, or the number of applications for summer internships exceeded the number of positions available. What do you think is 100% true based on the 4 points we read in the argument? A, B, C और D. एक लेटर भेजा है एप्लीकेंट को, सॉरी we can't offer internships to everybody, funding is limited, so we are forced to reject many highly qualified candidates. Based on this, can we say ये तो standard letter है, जो भी reject होता है यही letter ये लोग भेजते हैं? Can you say that from what has been given? Or the funding for summer internships is very less, बहुत ही कम है, इसीलिए किसी को नहीं मिल रहा है. C, candidates prefer to do unpaid internships. And 4, number of applications for internships is, ये कहाँ आपको लिखा? See, I mentioned it as a fact, but where this is about funding, so this is about a paid internship. So इसमें तो unpaid के बारे में mention ही नहीं किया गया है. Okay, Afifa, nothing about unpaid internships has been mentioned here. I just explained. बस इस चिट्ठी में unpaid के बारे में तो कुछ नहीं लिखा गया. It just said कि पैसे, funding is limited. Okay, funding is limited, so we can't offer internships to all applicants, and we reject many highly qualified. But we can't say anything about candidates. मुझे पैसे भी मत दो, मैं काम कर दूंगी. ये तो we can't say that based on what has been given. So C is out. Now tell me between A, B and D, which is the next one you think will work. अगर सही है तो सही है, नहीं तो I'll tell you why it is wrong. Between, you said C, I told you C is not the correct one. Between A, B and D, tell me what is the next likely answer. And if it is not correct, I'll tell you why it is not correct. Based on the letter that you've read, can you say ये standard letter है, सबको यही चिट्ठी भेजा होगा? Nothing in the application has said that. Yes, reject ये letter इसी candidate को भेजा या सभी को ये देते हैं? We can't say. Exactly, perfect. It is D, because he says limited does not mean less. Limited, unlimited नहीं है, जो भी अप्लाई करेगा हम पैसा नहीं दे सकते हैं. But limited और less में बहुत फर्क है. Limited means there is an amount, there is a boundary, there is a limit to it. We can't give more than that. Less is different. All right. So we can't say, therefore, only thing he is saying is we can't offer internships to everyone who applies. That means the number of people who apply is far more than the number of internships available. Therefore, the correct answer is D. Excellent. All right. So this is this particular question. No problem. You see, I've been teaching for the last God knows how many years. If I tell you, you'll guess my age, so I won't tell you. So we keep looking at the same question again and again, but you are doing it for the first time. So it's okay to make some mistakes, but now you've understood. And so the second time when we do inferences again, so we'll do a round of questions, all kinds of questions. After that, we'll do a second round of questions. When we do inferences again, you will feel a little better. You'll say, "Acha, ab samajh mein aaya kya hai?" Got it? So every day we'll only do that. We'll do only 3, 4 or 5 questions. Go back on these questions, watch it again and solve it and see you'll get all the questions right. All right. Okay, so the correct answer is D. All right. Okay, done. Inferences and conclusions are done. Let's see what BYJU'S has in store for you for the next few days. Feb 28th at 6 p.m. Alpa will be taking a session on CLAT 2025. Do attend that. There's a scholarship test on 3rd March at 11 a.m. Register. If you do well in the scholarship test, you get up to 90% scholarship. That means you will get a huge discount. You'll get a huge fee waiver. So if you apply for any particular course, if you want to join and you take the scholarship test and do well, about 70, 80 to 90% of the fees can be cut and you get to pay very little to get into a long-term course. All right, do register and take the scholarship test and look at it. There'll be questions on English, on critical reasoning. Do well and you'll get a fee waiver. All right. On 10th March, Nivedita will be taking a session on 9 months to CLAT 2025. You're preparing for CLAT 2025. You've got 9 more months. How do you prepare? What should your study plan be like? What are the subjects you should be concentrating on right now? What should you be focusing on right now? What should you do later? All these, how do you balance your studies, your board exams and your CLAT preparation? Nivedita herself is a National Law School graduate, so she'll tell you about strategies about how you should be planning your preparation. All right. If you are interested in taking other legal entrance tests, do talk to our counselors. They will tell you what are the courses available and how you can join. We have a comprehensive course for CLAT 2025. Join that. We have a test series for other law entrance exams. That means only a set of 25 CLAT marks, 15 AILET and 15 OLET marks. Lot of CLAT toppers have recommended this test series. Take it if you don't want a full course, just want the tests. Okay. We are there on almost all social media channels. You can join any one or all of them and get updates on our latest courses and sessions on the YTN app. Okay. I will see you next Tuesday and Fridays. Tuesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. I'll be taking this CR quest. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.